God is able to turn your can't into can. Good morning and thanks for joining us. On Sunday, we looked at the amazing story of Hezekiah and the people of Jerusalem facing a can't. They had the mighty Assyrian army coming against them, but even in the face of threats which just grew worse and worse, as they trusted in God, God delivered them in a most incredible way. Now, we're going to turn to the gospel accounts today, and I've had this story on my heart that I'd like to share with you. Matthew chapter 15, verses 21 to 28, and I'm reading from the New Living Translation. Then Jesus left Galilee and went north to the region of Tyre and Sidon. A Gentile woman who lived there came to him pleading, "Have mercy on me, O Lord, Son of David, for my daughter is possessed by a demon that torments her severely." But Jesus gave her no reply, not even a word. Then his disciples urged him to send her away. "Tell her to go away," they said. "She's bothering us with all her begging." And then Jesus said to the woman, "I was sent only to help God's lost sheep, the people of Israel." But she came and worshipped him, pleading again, "Lord, help me." Jesus responded, "It isn't right to take food from the children and throw it to the dogs." She replied, "That's true, Lord, but even dogs are allowed to eat the scraps that fall beneath their master's table." "Dear woman," Jesus said to her, "your faith is great. Your request is granted." And her daughter was instantly healed. Friends, if we were looking to introduce someone to the love of Jesus, this might not be our go-to passage, not so? I mean, even as a younger believer, I looked at this and I thought, sure, Lord, it just feels like you treated her pretty harshly. And yet, friends, as we dig deeper into the story, we see the love, the kindness, the compassion of Jesus actually coming through. Now, here's the thing, is that even though the disciples urged Jesus to send her away, notice that he didn't do that. He never chased her away. Instead, he put 3 tests in front of her. They were tests of her faith, which grew more and more challenging. So test number 1 is in verse 23. He just ignored her. He didn't say anything. When that didn't chase her away, the next thing was that Jesus told her that his mission was to the Jews and not to the Gentiles, which obviously was 100% correct. The mission to the Gentiles would really be launched after Jesus returned to his Father in heaven. And when that just brought her even closer to him and asking even more for help, he then gave her the most challenging test of all. He said to her effectively, it's not right to take the children's food, that's what belongs to the Jews, as it were, and to toss it out to the dogs, to the Gentiles, referring to the Gentiles. Now, that's the wording is a little softer than it sounds to us because it's more of an affectionate term, like little dogs or pets, all right? But even, friends, as we read that passage, we might find ourselves getting just a little bit offended on behalf of this woman. Okay, the story seems to unfold quite quickly, but even though it moves quite quickly, this woman really persevered in trusting the Lord. There were so many points where she could have just thrown up her hands in a huff and just stormed off, all offended, but she just persevered. She kept on trusting, and her trust almost seemed to increase as the story progresses. Okay, now many of us have faced similar tests. I'd say especially the first 2. All right, so how often haven't you been crying out to the Lord for something? You're facing whatever in life, there's something in front of you, and you are praying, calling out to the Lord, but the heavens just seem to be silent. There's no answer. It feels as if God is ignoring you. Been in a place like that? I have. Maybe some of you watching today are in that place. All right, or how about this one? Again, there's something before you, and you're crying out to God for help. As you're praying, you look around you, and other Christians are having their prayers answered. Maybe the very thing you're trusting for, they're getting. And in your heart, there's this little thing. Okay, so are they your favorite kids, Lord? Am I not important to you? Hey? Ever wrestled with that one before? Let's put our hands up there. Now, the third test, I don't think God would ever put this to us, okay? At this stage, where we at in the covenant of grace, the new covenant. But let's just be honest. If the Lord had to compare you or your offspring to little dogs, even little dogs, that probably wouldn't go down too well. I think many Christians would be pretty offended at that. So what on earth was Jesus up to here? What was he doing? Okay? Can I propose this to you today, is that it's true that Jesus was called to take the gospel first to the Jews. As we've said, the mission to the Gentiles would really be launched when Jesus returned to the Father. But even so, we see this lady addressing Jesus as Lord, Son of David. Okay? That was a messianic title that she was giving. In other words, there was something in this woman's title that she gave Jesus that pointed to faith. And friends, I believe that Jesus discerned faith in this woman. All right? And from the start, Jesus was actually rooting for her. Even with these very challenging tests, what Jesus was doing is he was lovingly drawing out this great faith from her, okay? And as she persevered in faith, as she didn't just get in a huff and walk away all offended, as she persevered in trusting him, she sees this amazing, amazing miracle. This woman refused to believe that she and her daughter were excluded from receiving what they needed from Jesus. And in fact, the NIV and the ESV translations, instead of referring to scraps from the table, they refer to crumbs. And I like that picture. Just think about this. What this woman was saying is, Jesus, all I need is a crumb, just a little crumb of kindness from you, and that'll be enough. Just one crumb from you, Jesus, will be enough to see my daughter healed. How amazing is that? And I picture Jesus responding with such joy and great delight. Woman, well done. You have great faith. Your request is granted. Okay? As I said, Jesus had just lovingly but very skillfully drawn this great faith out of her, as she hadn't walked away offended, but she persevered in faith, a faith that saw her daughter instantly healed. Okay? The application today for us is so simple. We have to persevere in trusting in Jesus. Friends, even when we don't have the answers, even where God is or isn't doing that which we think he should be doing, he doesn't seem perhaps even to be coming through for us, we have to keep trusting in the Lord. All right? Keep on pressing forward, worshiping him, calling on him to help us. The amazing thing, friends, is this, is that as a Gentile, in this woman's mind, just a crumb from Jesus would be enough. And here's the thing, you and I, most of us who are watching this today, we're Gentiles, all right? But we are also followers of Jesus, which means that we are children of God Most High. In other words, our portion is not the crumbs and the scraps that fall from the table. Our portion is the feast that God lays out on the table for his kids. In other words, friends, how much more so shouldn't you and I be trusting in the Lord and to keep on persevering in trusting him for great things, for God to turn our cans into cans, for him to come through for us as only he can. Keep on trusting Jesus. Keep on trusting him. I hope this encourages you today. Thanks so much for watching. God bless you.